Hey everybody, welcome from Châteauroux, France. And you'll see behind me the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And that's where I will be celebrating Easter tomorrow. And so you'll be getting this on Monday. So just happy Easter, everyone, a day late. He is risen indeed. And so just welcome from Châteauroux. I'm here on the city walls today. And this little city is about 2 hours west of Paris, south of the Loire Valley, and the word Châteauroux means many chateaus, and not much tourism here. I think my wife and I are probably the only tourists in town, but that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to go to a place where we could kind of veg for a few days, and I could get some work done and sit around, go to the local market, do those types of things, and that's exactly what we've done for the last few days. So, Châteauroux, France. I wanted to review lesson 5 for you. So, and then preview lesson 6 for you. So let's get started. Lesson 5 in your discussion board this week talked about Granger. And this is one of the big confusing areas, not Granger, but the whole definition of wholesale versus retail. Wholesale, for the most part, means that a company will sell to a wholesaler who will then sell to a retailer. And so you remember this kind of follows up on last week with disintermediation. One of the key things that companies are trying to do is to get rid of the wholesaler so they can go directly to the consumers. But a wholesaler is somebody who the company sells to, and then they sell to a retailer, and then the retailer sells directly to the consumer. And you think about this from a Costco or Sam's Club. I mean, they're called Costco or Sam's Wholesale, but they sell directly to the consumer. So my point is that the definitions on these things are blurring considerably. Even with the example that you used this week with Granger. Granger is, for the most part, a wholesaler, but they can sell directly to individuals too if you fill out a few forms or do a few things like that. So the lines are blurry, and hopefully you caught some of that this week on the difference between wholesale and retail. The assignment this week talked about showrooming, and it talked about Best Buy being a showroom for different products that people will go online and buy elsewhere. And you'll see that Best Buy has had some ups and downs, and my hope with this one is that you simply didn't come up with your solution being price match. Now, that's a short-term strategy, but if your only strategy to deal with this is to price match, you're going to go out of business. And the reason is because your cost structure is always going to be higher than people who do not have bricks and mortar stores. And so the challenge with that is creating some form of added benefit. And so, Best Buy does provide their Geek Squad and other people for educational purposes. And my thought is that, honestly, they probably need to downsize. They need to downsize their stores and go into much more of a service mentality than they have in the past. But it's a challenge. I mean, it's a big challenge for all bricks and mortar stores. The same could go for Target and Walmart and, name any apparel shop out there. The challenges are very, very real. Lesson 6 coming up has a discussion, a quiz, and then an application as well. The discussion board question this week asks you to look at Google AdWords. Now, I'm sure all of you have done a Google search before, and you see up in the top something that says sponsored ads, or you see them on mobile in different places. And sponsors ads simply mean that the people who have sponsored that ad are paying Google for clicks. And so if you go to that sponsored ad and you click on that sponsored ad to go directly to that provider's website, then Google makes money. And this is one of the things you've probably heard: organic searches. Organic searches are the ones that come up just because of Google's algorithm. Sponsored searches come up because you're paying a certain amount per click for that to happen. As a matter of fact, I manage the Charleston Southern University's Google AdWords account. So a lot of the things that we do for online marketing of our degree programs is through Google AdWords. And so I encourage you to look very deeply on that as you go this week. Okay? And then the assignment this week talks about the future of marketing and some of the implications that are there. Now, I can recall back in the day that our big decisions in marketing happened to be whether we were going to have television advertising, radio advertising, billboard advertising, or coupons in the best food day, which is typically a Wednesday of your local newspaper. Well, those days still exist, but they're in small supply. These days, with different mobile options, with Netflix and Hulu and other people not watching network television anymore. And then I presented a company out there for you to take a look at called Second Life. I want you to look at Second Life not from the perspective of advertising, but look at it from the perspective of market research. If you were a marketer, what could you learn if you dropped some ideas, if you will, into Second Life? So take a look at those. Make sure you do some research on your own this week to pull those together, because marketing and advertising are certainly changing, and they're changing very rapidly. You know, if you think about clutter these days, it's all over the place. So if you were a marketer, take a look at that and say, how would you be spending your dollars going forward? Okay? I hope you all have a great week. Again, I'm totally accessible. Just reach out to me if you need me. Take care. Talk to you soon.